Hello everyone, welcome back to our overview of the heart. Now that we've gone through some of the general overviews and we've gone through some of the basic anatomical structures of the heart, now we're going to take a further in-depth look at the gross anatomy of the heart and specifically start looking at the superficial features of this spectacular organ. So again, just to orient yourself properly, the base is the broad superior aspect of the heart. The apex is the inferior point of the heart that points down and towards the left. Superficially, we have structures known as the auricles. And you'll see these more when you actually look at the anatomical specimens and you study the images more and more, but they look like little ears, as they were, hanging off the heart. And we'll talk about these a little bit more later, but what the auricles are, just in a general sense, is these are the embryological true atria, aka they function as the atria of the heart until the atria fully develop, and then their function is kind of taken over and their role is kind of absorbed into that of the actual atria. But you have these really unique landmarks known as the auricles. You have a right one that overlies the right atria and a left one that overlies the left atrium. On the anterior aspect of the heart, you have this nice channel. You have a series of channels or grooves on the superficial surface of the heart that channel the blood vessels, whether arteries or veins. They channel them and keep them insulated. Okay? The one that is most important for you guys to know, at least in terms of Bio 202, is going to be this anterior interventricular sulcus. And if that name sounds a little descriptive to you, that's because it should. Because interventricular simply means that it runs between the ventricles. So here is that sulcus right here. You have the right ventricle, or the lower right portion of the heart, or lower right chamber of the heart, located beneath that portion of myocardium. And then you have the left ventricle located right here. Now, this picture doesn't do it justice, and it shows that the right ventricle is much larger than the left. But that's because the chambers of the heart are slightly offset, with the right chambers of the heart being more anteriorly located and the left chambers of the heart being more posteriorly located. So right side in front, left side a little bit more towards the back. Okay? On top, underneath that right auricle, you have the right atrium. We'll show you what all these chambers look like on the inside of the heart in just a minute. And again, if you recall, like I just said, the right chambers are located more anteriorly, and then the left chambers are located more posteriorly. The left ventricle rotated down towards the back. The left atrium you can't really even see in this image. That's why I used a dotted arrow right here to kind of show that it is behind the heart, kind of sneaking around. And we'll show you what that looks like here in just a second. Okay? So here is a good image that shows you what those structures should look like, and the heart the way it is properly oriented in the body. Again, base towards the top, apex down and towards the left. If we flip that heart over, base towards the top, apex down and towards the left. Okay. Now from there, we can look at some of the different structures. Okay. The left atrium, located up here, and located there in the image if you're looking at it anteriorly. The right atrium, located off to the side, located anteriorly right there. Right ventricle, left ventricle, left ventricle. And again, just some general chambers of the heart. And again, we'll be taking a look inside the heart here in just a few moments. Okay? But these are structures that you need to be familiar with. Now that we've covered the internal or the external structures of the heart, let's take a look at the actual vasculature, or the main blood vessels of the heart. Now, I want to make a distinction here now that veins are structures that carry blood towards the heart. Arteries are structures that carry blood away from the heart. Okay? I want you to take a minute and let that sink in. Veins towards, arteries away. Okay? The two main vessels, or the two main veins that carry blood back to the heart from systemic circulation, are going to be the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava, right here. So that's going to be superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Those are going to empty blood into that right atrium. Okay. Now, the main arteries that carry blood away from the heart, okay, again, arteries can carry oxygenated or deoxygenated blood, but they carry blood away from the heart. The two main arteries are the aorta, which carries blood out to systemic circulation, towards the arms, legs, the gut, the head, etc., and then the pulmonary trunk. Pulmonary trunk carries deoxygenated blood away from the right ventricle to the lungs to get oxygenated. Okay. You have the pulmonary arteries, okay, right here, both left and right. Those branch off of that pulmonary trunk, and they split to carry blood to either the left or the right lungs. And then you have the pulmonary veins, the right and left pulmonary veins that carry blood back towards the heart from the lungs to pump them into the left ventricle, and then that oxygenated blood then gets circulated through systemic circulation. And that concludes our overview of the superficial features of the heart as well as the vasculature. We'll reconvene here in just a few minutes with a detailed look at the deep anatomy of the heart. We'll cut inside and take a look to see exactly what makes the heart tick. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you here shortly.